We heard this could be a problem, but we did not expect it to happen to us.
In this video, we're going to share our personal experience in hopes of helping you mitigate your risk when moving to Portugal and living here.
Now at the end, we're gonna give you guys our ultimate advice, and before we do that, you've gotta know who the heck we are. Hey expats and travelers, I'm Josh with Expats Everywhere.
And I'm Kaylee, and we believe that living abroad transforms lives. And if you're new to our channel, then we just want to let you know that we have lived in 5 different countries outside of the US over 12 years, and we currently live in Porto, Portugal.
So it's Saturday night, it's around 7 p.m. Kaylee's feeding Valencia, and it's about an hour before her bedtime. Remember that because that's gonna come into play later. So there I am sitting, and I'm working on YouTube, of course, and water just starts splashing down right next to me. Now, to understand this, we actually have to go back 8 weeks.
So 8 weeks ago, we noticed that mold started forming up on the ceiling wall area. And then it was raining really hard and we heard this really slow drip. So then we started to investigate. What was that? Where was it coming from?
I mean, whoever really looks up anyway.
Well, we started to because after seeing this mold and hearing this drip, we thought, well, it's raining, something's dripping, it's time to look up. And what we found did not look good. So immediately we sent a message to the property management company, showed them what we saw, and they said that they would send a technician in the morning to check things out. When the technician got there, he took a look at the different spots and immediately he knew that he had to go up to the roof. So he said, I'll let you guys know, I'll talk to the property management company and they'll get back to you with what was next. So he did that. Didn't see him again, didn't hear from the property management company, so we kind of just went on our merry way and figured they would call us or contact us when they decided they needed to do something. It wasn't really a surprise that we didn't really hear from them because, well, it's Portugal, so you know us, we're chill, and we kind of just went on our way and figured they would contact us when they wanted to.
Like Kaylee said, time passed, and that actually leads us up to this week. So if you're living in Portugal, you probably know it's been raining a ton, especially up here in the north. And to say it's been raining a ton is a little bit of an understatement. On Friday and Saturday in particular, it had rained so much. So much so that actually Pincho didn't even get a walk. Like I said, I was sitting there, I was working at the table, and water just started to drop from the light fixture ahead, just next to me. Now I'm telling you guys, if my computer had been 6 inches to the left, then water would have landed straight on the keyboard. Disaster.
We were really fortunate with the timing because Sia was in her high chair eating, so that gave me the opportunity to run over and grab stuff off of the table. As you guys have seen, that's kind of our workstation, so all of our electronics are on there, which is bad for water. So she was eating, had food on her tray. Thankfully the dog didn't start barking with all the commotion. I ran over, I grabbed stuff, and immediately Josh started recording to show them that water was dripping from the light fixture. Now this is the part I want to know because it's very important when you choose a rental to consider these things. Living was amazing. They were very quick with their response and they were very compassionate with how they wanted to go about the situation. We're about to explain exactly how they went about the situation, but we'd be silly not to give you this one little detail that we mentioned a little earlier.
Like I said before, it was 7 p.m. when all of this started happening, and when things got communicated, of course there was a bit of a lag. So by the time everything had been communicated and things were much clearer, it was already 7:30.
Now Sia was already well into her bedtime routine, so for all you parents out there, you know what that means. We do not want to interrupt that because that will interrupt nighttime sleep.
So by the time Living had communicated with us that they would like to move us, Sia was fast asleep, and we decided just to wait until the morning to go ahead and move because we were okay staying there for the night. And also it was still pouring, so we were like, no, we don't want to move. In fact, a few weeks ago our umbrella broke because of the wind. So when the morning hit, they were able to get us into a new apartment, and they said that they had several options. Now, why do they have several options? Well, one is because the owner of the apartment that we're in actually owns several other apartments that are managed by this company. 2 is that the property management company has a bunch of properties in their portfolio. Now, there are a lot of vacancies due to the global pandemic. There's not a lot of tourism going on. And then the one they asked us to move into initially is owned by the owner of the property that we're in, but we didn't want to move into that one because we had already seen that property and we knew that Sia's crib wouldn't fit. So we said, what else do you have? Now, it might have seemed like beggars can't be choosers at this point, but we did need something that would accommodate Valencia, and we knew that we were in a position where we could get something else. Now, there are 2 reasons why at this point we're able to get something else. One is because there's a lot of vacancy going on right now because of the pandemic. So there's not a lot of tourism happening here in Porto. And the second reason is that Living is a big company that has a lot of properties in their portfolio. So even though the owner of the property that we're in didn't have any other vacancies other than the one that they offered us, Living had other options because they're a big company. So they were able to get us here.
So where is here? Well, that's a different story that we'll tell you later on. But what we want to tell you today is what we have learned and the advice that we would give when finding a rental. Number 1, things can move slowly here. So we've actually talked about this in our other videos, and people that we've interviewed like Carl and David have even talked about how the bureaucracy is very slow here. So you definitely have to go into it with an open mind, knowing that things could move slowly if there is a problem.
Number 2, go with a company that has a lot of properties. So big property management companies or Airbnb owners who have a lot of properties, well, they're gonna be able to be a little more flexible when it comes to this type of problem solving. So before you book, just ask. Ask what their portfolio is like, make sure that they've got a lot of properties, and also check their reputation. See if they have a good reputation for coming up with good solutions when these problems do arise, because these problems will arise when you're talking about medium to long-term rentals.
Number 3, make sure that you're communicating with your property management company about issues that might arise, because if it's something small initially, they might be able to fix it so that it doesn't snowball into something bigger. So even though we did communicate with them, the ball is then in their court and they can decide what to do with that. But it's not on us. We communicated that there was an issue, so that way they at least know. So make sure that you're always talking to the property management company.
Number 4, note that this is not just a problem for those that live on the top floor. We actually had some friends that lived on like the 2nd or 3rd floor, and they also had a leak. Now the leak was because their neighbors above them, their pipe broke. So a pipe busted and water started falling into their apartment, but they were also able to have their problem solved because the Airbnb owner owned another property in another building, so they were able to get shifted to that other property. Boom. Problem solved for them.
And number 5, be flexible, because honestly in this culture, getting mad or stressed about it doesn't mean that they'll move any faster. So if you're flexible, it'll just be less stress on you, because really this could happen anywhere. No matter where you are in the world, this stuff just happens. So it's best if you just be flexible.
Like we told you guys before, this place indeed does have its story, and its story is gonna be told February 28th, Sunday. Click here and you guys can check out this story. We shot an episode of Property Hunt Portugal. If this isn't here right now, then go ahead and check out this playlist right here to learn how to move to Portugal on a D7 visa. Now let's get moving. It's Saturday night around stupid seagull.